Recording in progress. Hello, everybody. This is the very first episode of Yarmouth Connected on a camera. And I am super excited because my first guest ever is Duane MacLeod. And he is here to talk about his show, Nova Scotia Golden Girls. If you have not seen this, you have to, because this is genius. So I'm going to let Duane take the floor. What do you do, Duane? what do you do?
Hi. Well, first off, this is really cool, and I'm really excited that we're doing this. And I back when COVID started, and we were stuck in home. If you weren't able to get out and work in the community, and I work in the community, so I was able to go to work. But basically, you're stuck at home all the time, and I'm like, oh, what can I do to entertain myself? So like everybody else, I joined TikTok and was going down the rabbit trails all the time. And I had watched a video of somebody who was doing a Golden Girls parody and doing all 4 parts. And I was like, that is so cool. And at this point, I had tried like a couple of the trendy videos and really didn't get anybody watching. And I didn't expect to either. And I was like, I got a bag full of old Halloween costumes up in a closet. I'm going to try Golden Girls video because I love the Golden Girls, grew up watching it, thought, yeah, I can do this. And that's what started it. I honestly just was doing it to prove to myself that I could do it. And it kind of took off. And the next thing I knew, people were like, you need to get better wigs and all sorts of stuff. So it just kind of evolved.
Yeah, you need to like step up your game. Come on.
Into this own entity. And I'm just like, what is going on?
It's so funny how things will just kind of take off and you're not expecting anything to happen. You're like, I'm just having fun dressing up as the Golden Girls just to see if I can do it. And now people are like, wait a minute, no, like, are you going to do it again? Because we want to see this.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
So I've watched a few, and the way that I found you was through a friend. Her name is Lynette Amiro, and I met her.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi, Lynette. I met her at the pierogi fundraiser that Candace Phibbs had put on here not long ago. It did really well, but I met some really awesome people. My husband and I went to make pierogies, and I met Lynette, and we bonded over the fact that we own chickens, of all things. But when I was looking for someone to cover next, she pointed me in your direction, and I started watching your TikTok videos, and I was blown away by the mannerisms. Like every little, I love the Golden Girls. So, I mean, yeah. to know that you're dressed up as them. I know it's not them, but yet the mannerisms are so bang on that I felt like I'm watching the episode. Like it just blows my mind.
That's awesome.
And I'm just wondering, like, how much time does it take just to make that clip? It's got to take some time.
So the very first one I did, and I had no idea how to do it. I'm just, going by off the cuff. And I was like, okay, I looked up on YouTube and Googled like how to break up the scenes and all this. And the first one took me 3 hours because I had, and it was so funny. If you could have seen the setup in my dining room, I had a candle holder with a box sitting on top of it with another candle holding my phone. And it was so weird. And I'm like, I got these like costumes on. I'm like ran to the dollar store and I think I got some fake beads and everything. And I'm just like, okay, let's just do this. And I did it one part, like one line at a time. So I would put on, like, say Dorothy, I think she had the first scene, put on Dorothy, and then I'd pause it. And then if you look really closely at my older ones, you'll see that my hand going up to pause, which one of my kids finally was like, why don't you just set the timer? And I'm like, there's a timer?
Yeah. So, who would have thought?
I would like, exactly. I had no idea what I was doing. So I'd put on one character and I'd like do their line, which would only take like maybe 2 seconds. And then I'd be like, I'd strip all that off, put on the next character and move to another seat. And I already determined that there's 4 seats in my dining room. So there's 4, each character would have their own seat. And I just did that. I kept going from seat to seat, doing line to line. It took 3 hours. It was exhausting. And by the time I was done, I was like, this is kind of cool. This was a lot of fun. And I thought I'd get, maybe 100 people looking at it or whatever. And then the next thing I knew, there was like 1,700 views. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I was like, oh, okay, that's probably where that went to. And
Mhm.
then I thought, why not make another one? So I did another one the next day. And then all of a sudden it just blew up.
Yeah,
And
it's TikTok's really great for that, actually. A lot of people blow up on TikTok.
right,
And
like it's not blow up like Alicia McCarville up in like the McCarvilles up in Halifax, where they wake up one morning and they have millions of
yeah, no,
views.
hey, we all start somewhere, right? But I noticed though on your Facebook page, you have over 4,000 followers and
So
counting.
I had noticed once TikTok started gaining some momentum and I was starting to get a lot more people, I had a few people who were on TikTok, especially like, my parents' generation. They're a lot of them are on TikTok. And they were like, well, how can we see these videos? So I decided, well, maybe I'll just start a group on Facebook. And it's done the same thing. It's just done this exponential growth that's been really kind of cool to watch.
Yeah,
And it's really kind of formed a little Golden Girls community. It's kind of wild. I have people on there from all over the world, and they're all coming together for the same purpose. And it's not just about my videos. They share a lot of memes. They share a lot of stories about how the Golden Girls affected their lives. It's been really cool, actually, and that continues to grow every day. And I'm really just kind of amazed at the growth that it's had. Really.
I love the fact that the Golden Girls has kind of stood the test of time. Like it's I love it. It never gets old
It
at all.
really doesn't.
Um,
And they were so ahead of their time
mhm,
in the
yeah,
issues that they dealt with in their shows. Like their writer, Susan Harris, I think she's phenomenal. Um, I I grew up watching the Golden Girls, but I didn't really know a whole lot about I didn't do a whole lot of study in them or
yeah,
whatever.
yep.
But once this started taking off and I started having all these fans, and I'm like, I got to school myself on,
Yeah,
some of their
or you're going
histories.
to get schooled.
Right, exactly.
Better
So I'm
start.
like, I need to go down the rabbit trail and do a lot of research.
Yeah,
And so I just started watching interview after interview, and really, I had no idea a lot of the things that these ladies were involved in, and the writing from Susan Harris and the rest of the writing team, just how they went and pushed those barriers and pushed those limits. And I went,
yeah.
wow, this was really a phenomenal show. And I think it's going to stand the test of time and be around forever. And there's always been these talks of remakes, and I don't think I don't think you can. I don't think you can replace them.
I, some people might not like me for saying it, but like, don't ruin a good thing, right? Like, it
Exactly.
just don't touch the classics. Leave them alone.
Exactly.
They're classics for a reason. They're not meant to be redone, in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
you're bang on.
I just don't even know how it would translate today, truthfully, to do
Right.
something like that now, because part of what they were doing was pushing boundaries, and where we're sitting today, it's like that's kind of what they were pushing for. So we're kind of here in a way,
Right.
always moving forward, but I just can't picture, number one, anyone being those characters other than the people who played them.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't
Exactly.
know if I could watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
And I think they really played a big role in the fact that I can stand here today, 2022, a mid 40s, big bearded bald guy putting on wigs and lipstick and lip syncing to them basically, and people are loving it. And I'm like, that wouldn't have happened
They
20,
do
30
such
years
a good job.
ago.
Like, so all their mannerisms are like dead on, but do you have a favorite that you like, um as far as, well, do you have a favorite on the show, but like, do you have a favorite that you like playing too?
So I get asked this a lot, and
Yeah.
my my favorite, and I keep going back and forth. I love them all for different reasons, but Betty White was my favorite. If I have to be completely honest, I think she's everybody's sweetheart, really.
Yeah,
Um,
she's like phenomenal.
and she's the hardest one I find doing,
Hmm.
because I don't know. There's something as soon as I put on, when I got the proper wigs. And now, mind you, Sophia's wig is 2 mops that I glued
I know.
together.
I saw that. And when it first, okay, so the first one I ever watched, and she's like knitting and she's like, I know, right? Or yes, when she says yes, because she's like, am I ugly or something? And
Yes,
she's
yeah.
like, I loved that. And when I saw the mop, I nearly fell over. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That is genius. It was hilarious.
I had these, so I had put out a few of the videos, and I had these old, actually Dorothy's wig when I first started was a mullet that I had from a Halloween costume, like a Joe Dirt mullet. And I tucked the mullet part up inside, and people were like, okay, this is good, but you need new wigs. And so they were really pushing me to order new wigs. And so we ordered new wigs, and I ordered a Sophia one, but in the meantime, I was like, I need something. So I went to the dollar store, and I was looking, I was gonna do like cotton balls glued to a hat, like you've
That would
seen
work.
in, right?
That's
Couldn't
fine.
find any hats. So then I came across these mop heads, and I went, I could do something with that. And so I'm home, and I'm glue gunning, and I'm putting these mop heads together. And then I looked at myself in the mirror, and I burst out laughing. And I said, I hope people find this funny and not offensive. And then when the real Sophia wig came in, I did a side-by-side picture of me as Sophia in both wigs and put it out there to everybody and said, which wig do you prefer? And the mop won out like in a landslide.
Yes, I think the mop just adds a little extra, like if she wasn't already hilarious enough, then
Right.
give her a mop. It just
Right. I love the mop. It needs to be replaced. It's kind of falling apart, so I have to take a trip to the dollar store.
Mop is gonna be its own meme at this point.
Exactly. But
I
when I first put on the Dorothy wig and was making my impression of what Dorothy looks like, I kind of took a step back and went, I kind of look like her. Like from the eyes up, I'm like, I kind of have her eye roll and everything down pat. And so then as I've been, evolving with the characters, I've found, to answer your question from before, because I like to talk. I find that Rose has been the hardest to figure out, because she has this way of looking so innocent, but that there's kind of like a zinger behind those eyes.
Very subtle, passive aggressive,
Exactly.
And kind of a deer in the headlights kind of mentality.
Yep.
So that's a lot to do, actually, to play that off, because to me it is subtle. So I can see where you might. I think I would find that the hardest too.
Yeah. She's really hard to
the other three are very animated with their facial expressions and that sort of thing. Especially Plant. I love it. I think it's probably, who would it be? Dorothy, I think, is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
That you do.
Yeah.
Because the rolling of the eyes and the just the stern look that she always has and stuff. I'm like, that is exactly her. Like, as soon as I mean, they're all so good, but I think if I had one where I was like, that's her, that's exactly what she looks like when she does that, I was like, yeah, it's definitely Dorothy.
I get that a lot, and it's really kind of cool. It's funny, because when I put on the wig, like, I don't feel like I could make the face right now if I tried, but when I put on that wig and I tilt my head down a little bit and raise my eyebrow, and I'm just like, okay, I'm ready. And I have I almost have to think in my head, like, okay, I'm disgusted with you. How would my face look if I'm disgusted all the time? And that's what I have to do. And when I do Sophia, I have to think of my great grandmother, and I'm just like, she always had like her lip up like this, so I'm like, that I have to do that because she had no lips, and just these type of things are going through my head.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun, actually, to try and sometimes I redo the lines over and over again, because I'm like, nope, it's not right. And then I'll get one, I'm like, oh, that's pretty close. And there's been times where I've even made myself laugh, where I go, oh, that was creepy how close it was to.
Like, I'm good. Like, yeah, that was great. Do you ever, I don't know about you, but like, I find whenever I'm doing something creative, I am like a perfectionist. Like, I don't know when to walk away from it. I can get really, do you find that that happens to you when you're doing the videos, like the little mannerisms, you're like, take 50, like we're doing this again?
You spot on. And there's times where there's these little noises in the background, and I'll like I have a few videos where there's like they use a lot of teacups, they use a lot of eating, like cake,
Yeah.
cheesecake and all that type of thing, and you'll hear a spoon drop or you'll hear a teacup drop, and sometimes it's like 15-20 minutes just trying to get that dink in the right timing. And I'm like, no, it's still not quite there. When I first started, I wasn't as worried about stuff like that, but now as it's evolved, I'm like, no, I gotta do this proper. It has to be right. So
I
sometimes
think
they take a little longer.
I think it definitely pays off, because I can't imagine, honestly, like the clips are short, right? But like the amount of work and, like you said, trying to perfect it that's going into it in the background. I don't know if people realize just how much work it takes to put together a little clip like that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine you've got it a bit of a routine going with it now, like for certain things.
It's a little easier than when I first started. When, like I said, my kids kind of taught me how to use the timer, and I learned over the last couple of years how to break up the scenes. And I do one part at a time now. So I'll do like
Yeah.
all Dorothy's lines, and then I go back and change, and I'll do all Blanche's lines or what have you, and that makes it a lot easier. And then sometimes, you'll be working on a video for about an hour and your phone will crash or something will happen and it'll lose it all and you'll have to start again. So
Yeah.
that can be frustrating because technology is what it is. But for the most part, sometimes we can get one, done, like a 7-second or a 15-second one done in like 15-20 minutes
Oh, nice.
now, as compared to like the 3 hours when I first started. So it's definitely evolved and become more easy.
And so I'm wondering too, based on that, how do you decide what little clips you're going to take away? I mean, there's so many episodes and there's so many, just scenes where it's like, how many episodes have you watched and picked apart to get like a particular scene that you're like, I can do that scene?
Right. So there's a lot of people who post Golden Girls are a really big part of pop culture, and there's a lot of people who are posting just scenes of the Golden Girls. So there are already scenes that are done because TikTok only has, you can do like 15-second, 30-second, 50, or up to a minute. Once you hit, I think 10,000 followers, you can do a 3-minute video.
Okay.
So I'm to that point where I can do 3-minute videos, but they're really hard to do because you can't. It's different how you have to do those ones, but for the minute videos, I just go on and I'm scrolling through TikTok, people will have little scenes of the Golden Girls and I'll save them to my favorites. And so I have hundreds of little 1-minute videos or less saved to my favorites on TikTok. And then I just go in one day and I'll be looking through and I'll be like, nah, not feeling that one. Meh, not feeling that one. Oh yeah, I want to do that one.
Yeah,
And
that's smart. Like that's efficient, because in my mind I was like, he must watch like every single episode of the Golden Girls and just be like, pause, that's the one I want to do. And but yeah, we live in a world where people just do clips of stuff and compile a list of clips. So that makes way more sense than I was making a lot more work for you in my mind.
I mean, if we want to make it sound harder than it is, I'm watching it 24/7.
I just slave away over my episodes of Golden Girls.
It's really funny. I've had some people say to me, "Oh, I love this clip. What episode is it from in the Golden Girls?" And I'm just like, I have no idea. I just got it from TikTok.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, you can go on like YouTube or TikTok or wherever and find these montages of the Golden Girls.
There have been a couple of times where there's been a sound or a scene that I've wanted to do. The Valentine's Day one was a big one. It was one of my first 3-minute videos that I actually did. And it took hours. And I really wanted to do the Valentine one when they're at the nude resort. And I had to actually go on to YouTube and record the sound from one of their episodes on YouTube because I couldn't find it on TikTok. And so there are times when I have to go on and actually make my own sound. But for the most part, a lot of people post stuff, and a lot of people are tagging me in things now. So they'll be like, oh, I really like this scene. I'll tag Penlight Boy. That's my tag name on TikTok. And I'll go on and save it, and I'll be like, okay, I'll do it sometime. But I have some people that just are crazy with tagging me and stuff. So it's like I have 30, 40 videos that they've tagged me in,
Yeah, they're
and
like,
so
look, do this.
yeah,
Please. Oh my gosh.
it's
So,
really cute.
I mean, even though, you've started to kind of perfect your craft and it doesn't take quite as long and that sort of thing. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a day job, you have a life. Like, how do you squeeze all of that in there?
It's becoming harder and harder. When I first started, I did a lot of research, especially when I started first growing, and I went on to read about how other people made their TikTok pages grow, and get more followers. And I mean, it was a lot of work at first. Some days I was doing 3 videos a day,
Oh,
and
wow.
not taking any days off because I wanted to make sure my face was constantly on the For You page on TikTok, and my
Yeah.
content was constantly on. And once I hit, it was actually weird. I was going on vacation in August, and I had started in, I think it was June, or June or the end of May. I think it was maybe May. And I was going to, I'm originally from PEI, and I was going home. And as I was driving, my phone kept going ding, 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 ding. And my family were calling me like, have you seen your TikTok? Like, I went from like, I don't know, 2,000 followers to all of a sudden there was like 3,000, and then it was like 4,000. And I just went from almost 0 to 10,000 followers in a matter of a few days. And once I hit 10,000, I was like, okay, I can take a break. And so
Yeah.
that's when I started pulling back and doing maybe just one a day instead of 3. And now, now it's like sometimes there's weeks go by, and I work in a job that requires me, like COVID keeps me quite busy. And so with COVID ramping up and everything, it's not given me as much time to do it, but it's really a great release on the weekends when I can just sit down and be like, okay, let's distress and let's just have some Golden Girl fun here.
Yeah,
And
no, that's awesome too. And like, bringing up COVID, I imagine it's helped some people, who might be at home, who can't get out, that sort of thing. Even if it's not COVID related, some people can't get out of the house for whatever reason,
uh,
or, maybe they have anxieties about going out and that sort of thing. So I can see where watching your videos would really brighten up their day, or like, just help them to relax a bit, and just life doesn't have to be so serious all the time.
exactly. And honestly, that's what keeps me going. I get a lot of messages, a lot of from people who are shut in, a lot of people who are going through some hard times, and they're just like, you know what, you made me smile today. Please keep it up. And especially when I first started and it first started ramping up, back during the mass shooting in Nova Scotia, I actually had one of the families reach out to me and say, our mom laughed today for the first time since
Oh,
our
wow.
dad was killed. And I went, oh, that was one of those moments that I'll never forget,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
because our heart was breaking with all of Nova Scotia. And for them to reach out and say, in the last month, it's been really rough, and our mom actually laughed today. I just was like, that's it. That's
I
I
would have
just
been in absolute tears. There's no way I would have like not cried at something like that. I mean, it makes me feel a little emotional just kind of talking to you about it right now. Like, I I mean, that's got to be just kind of an unexplainable feeling to know that this person, you don't know this person, they don't know you, but you know, you manage just by doing something as simple as putting wigs on and like impersonating the Golden Girls, that you
yep,
can brighten up somebody's day, and it just goes to show that, something that you don't think much of, like, oh, whatever, I'm just doing this. And then next thing you know, it's got an impact that you never expected it would have, and
exactly.
it's like we need to do more of that, so
Yeah,
I'm very thankful that you're doing something like this. I mean, it brightened my day for
oh,
sure. Like, i
that's awesome.
I think it was just such a shock to see that. I'm like, I know this is a guy in a beard dressed up as a Golden Girl, but you know, like I said, the expressions, you just kind of find yourself pulled into it. So I can see why she probably cracked a smile that day. You can't help, especially the mop. I mean,
Right.
you just, how can you not, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. It
That's
was
awesome.
very, it was very actually, it was quite humbling. And
Yeah.
I just honestly, I just remember sitting there. It was almost like somebody just knocked the wind right out of me, and it really brought it to light that, this has a life of its own. Like
Hmm.
this is really making a difference, and I'm sitting here having the time of my life. And I guess that's when I realized, these people that say, you know, pick a job or pick a career, or pick a hobby or whatever that doesn't feel like a job, doesn't feel like
Yeah.
a hobby or what have you. And I'm just like, yeah, this really doesn't feel like, this is just fun. I'm having fun.
Hmm.
And these are the type of results that I'm getting. And, people who are going through the hardest time of their life, and people with cancer and people who just lost loved ones or what have you, and they're reaching out and going, this is getting me through. And I think, oh, okay, I got to keep going then, right? For them,
Yeah.
I have to keep going.
Well, it puts it in perspective, because if you're going through a difficult time, if you're having a hard day and you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't got it in me. And
Yeah,
then somebody says something like that, you're like, okay, it's like my responsibility now, like to make you laugh. I
yeah,
have
yeah,
to. I
yeah,
have to make you laugh. And ultimately, I think it helps you along when you're struggling, when you're not feeling so strong,
you got it.
so it just creates this back and forth. And then to me, it's like, wow, you're making these connections that you never thought in a million years you'd be making, simply because you're doing something that you're just having fun doing.
Yeah,
But there there's so much more to it than just making somebody laugh. Like they say, laughter's the best medicine. I totally agree. I think if you can't laugh at life, it there's
yeah,
just some things that's how you get through life. So it's like we
exactly.
got the fact that you're doing that and just creating this like chain reaction of of people that no matter what's going on in their life, they're like, I can sit down and watch this guy like just
Right.
have fun, on
Yeah,
his TikTok page, and just kind of put life aside for a minute.
yeah.
It's hard
And
to do.
it's amazing when you think about it, just that a minute or even sometimes 7 to 15 seconds can just change somebody's day.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's overwhelming at times, and I try not to think about that too much, because I think with the messages that come in and everything, I think, okay, this is great, it stirs me on, but I can't think about that because I'll get bogged down thinking, oh, everybody's so unhappy right now, and
Yeah. You don't like there. I can see where you would feel an overwhelming sense of obligation, you know, because people are telling you just the kind of impact that it's having on them. But at the same time, you kind of have to keep yourself grounded, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
and not suck that fun out of it, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, not get so caught up in that you lose sight of why you did it to begin with.
exactly. Yeah. I had a period back a few months ago, and I just really got in a funk with doing the videos because I was like, oh, it had become more of a job.
Yeah.
And then it was fun. And I was like, oh, it's just kind of sucked the fun all out of it, because it was almost like, oh, I felt like I had to do it. And I took a break, and I explained to my Facebook group, I need a little break. I'm taking a break. And everybody was like, oh, I hope you're okay. I did. I think they were so concerned with my, some of them were like, oh, he must have COVID. It
Oh
was
my
like
gosh.
the speculation. And I went, no, I'm okay. I just need a break. And I took, like, I think it was like almost a month break, and then get back into it. And it was really good. I needed that break. I needed to be able to fall in love with doing it again.
Yeah.
And yeah, just continued on from there. And I still love doing it. It doesn't happen as often as I'd like, but when it does, I'm proud of what I put out, and
You
I
should
I
be.
really appreciate
It,
the people's response.
it's really awesome. I wonder sometimes, because I mean, I imagine the majority of your fans are super supportive, like you say, like, I need a break, okay, like, hope you're okay, that sort of thing. Do you ever get like some people that just, I don't know, they just want to crash the party? Like, do you ever run into that? Or
So it's really interesting you'd ask that, because I see like a lot of people that I follow on TikTok, I see them post videos responding to negative comments that are on their page, or
Mhm.
people like addressing the haters, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've only had one comment in the last 2 years that was even remotely negative, and it was just somebody put, this is going to get boring after a while.
Oh,
And that was it.
I
Like,
feel like that's all you got? Fine.
right. And I went, wow, if that's the worst comment I get, and there hasn't been, I haven't had any negative comments. I
That's
haven't had,
awesome.
it's just been love and people laughter. It's really, it's really crossed that, I don't know, it's connected a lot of people that you'd never think would be into watching this type of video.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's been quite phenomenal, really. And no, not a lot of negativity. I really, I really can say I've had a good run so far. And I hope
No,
it continues
definitely. I mean,
with.
I personally can't wrap my head around how somebody would have a negative like attitude towards what you're doing. I mean, if anything, there should just be some silent respect for, for the fact that you go out of your way to do this. And I mean, I'm sure they're welcome to step up and try if they want.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I was reading, aside from the Golden Girls, that you also are really into singing. That,
I am.
yeah.
So I'm a nurse currently. Well, currently I'm a nurse.
Mhm.
I work actually in infection prevention and control. So that's why I'm quite busy with COVID. But before I was a nurse, my first university degree was a music degree, and I was a
Oh,
voice
wow.
major. And so um, I moved down to Yarmouth to work at the Wesleyan Church to produce their living Christmas tree.
Okay.
So that's what I used to do. I have big into a theater background, music background. I come from a musical family, and in fact, in 2008, in March of 2008, I was runner up in the David Foster Ovation Star Search
Oh,
for Atlantic
wow.
Canada. And that was kind of I had always in the background wanted to pursue a music career of some sort, whether it be like, getting out my own music or being in theater. But yeah, you can't make a lot of money and you can't support a family on that sometimes, especially in the Maritimes. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is my chance. And when I was a runner-up, I was like, okay, it's not my chance. But I sing locally when I can. I've been involved with the Tuna Fest, been involved with the Cold Shed Music Festival.
Mhm.
Um, and I love singing, and but this is kind of almost, I don't want to say overshadowed it, but it's the TikTok thing is really taken over. The Golden Girls are really taken over, and I thought, okay, this might be my way to get, you know, some more music out there eventually. And so I've started introducing, oh, here's this YouTube video of me singing here, here's this and that. And people are like, oh my goodness, you sing too? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Cross promotion.
yes, okay. I'm like,
There's no shame in that. Cross promotion,
right?
of course.
So yeah, I do love to sing, and I do have a YouTube channel. There's a few of my stuff on there, not a whole lot, but a lot of videos from like Tuna Fests and the 80s show that we had, and the Gold Rush show that we had. And a lot of it's done in costumes, because I love that little bit of I
Yeah.
like to walk out on stage and have that laugh, that reaction,
Sure.
and then make them laugh and then be like, okay, just wait, I'm gonna sing for you. And then everybody's it was a lot of fun to do all that. So yeah.
No, I did hear you, and you do have a great voice. And in my mind, I was like, the first thing I thought, and if people have, it's like there needs to be a Golden Girls like musical. You have to do this for me at some point, please.
That
Um,
would be awesome.
like we'll have Nova Scotia Golden Girls the musical, and I think that would be Like, I mean, I know like the amount of work that would take, so I know what I'm asking of you. But just keep that on the back of your mind. I think people would eat it up. I know I would for sure.
That's super funny. I never even considered something like that, but now that you say it, I'm like, that's really funny.
That would like just combine everything together. It would be awesome.
I can actually picture that in my head now that you say that.
Oh yeah, no,
my mind's racing now.
I'm like, if you haven't thought of this, or if someone hasn't said it, you've heard it here first. There will be a musical at some point.
I had my dream, and I've put it out there a couple of times. I want to do a full length episode of the Golden Girls.
Oh, that would
so be I'd like to do, their 22 or 24 or however many minutes their episode is. And I want to find the perfect episode that just is laugh after laugh after laugh with like zinger after zinger.
Yeah.
And do it, I'll make it into like 3-minute intervals. And then put the whole thing on YouTube. But I'm not computer savvy enough. And I've put it out there a couple of times going, okay, who wants to help me with this project? And nobody's bitten yet. So.
What? Oh, unacceptable.
If you know somebody, I would love to do it.
I will help you. I will push for this. This needs to happen. We'll talk to the ARC. Maybe they can like.
There we go. No, I just think there's nobody that I know on TikTok who does parodies of TV shows that has even attempted that. And I'm thinking, okay, I think that would be really cool. And I'm like, 22 minutes divided by 3. It wouldn't really take that long, but I'd need somebody to do the editing. So I'm just like, every time I talk, I'm like, so if there's anybody that's really good at editing and
I'm not sure that I'd be the right person for the editing, but I am a good like hype man, like moral support.
That's awesome.
Fan for sure. But no, I don't know why, but like when I saw that you could sing and then you do this, and I was like, it's just natural. It's like peanut butter and jam. We got to do it. Oh my gosh. So do you ever get anybody that gets you to sing the theme song?
I have actually sang the theme song. There's a video on my TikTok of me singing the theme song. And I think I posted it to the Facebook group as well. And I also have an Instagram group. And I posted it all on there. And there was one of my friends from university was like, oh, that's really cool, but why don't you sing it yourself? And I'm like, that is me singing it. I'm not lip syncing. And they're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's out there.
I'm wondering, I know it's early in the morning, but would you be willing to sing it with me? Sang the theme song.
Sure.
I gotta look up the, the words. I know most of them. There's gonna be some haters like, how dare you not know all the words to the song? I am not like the level of singer that you are. But I thought we could just like karaoke it a little bit. Like,
I love it. I think this is phenomenal.
All right.
And I'm sure the people in the offices around me that can hear me will be
like, gosh,
what is he doing over there?
I never thought of that. But I'm like, you know what? No, we're doing it. I got it.
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Out there now, we have to do it.
Okay, here it is.
I love it.
Oh, okay. All right, bear with me because
yeah, I'll get a drink too. We'll drink.
I don't sing in front of people. I'll be able to carry the tune with you, but I assure you I'm more nervous than you are. Probably.
It'll be fun. It'll be great. This is gonna be awesome.
You know all the words?
I do.
I have the words in front of me. All right, here we go. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is
true. You're a pal and a confidant.
Let's see.
And if you threw a party and invited everyone you knew,
well, you
would say the biggest gift would be from me.
And the
heart attached would say, thank you for being a friend. That's awesome. Well done. Bravo.
Oh my gosh. I am so happy you indulged me on that. That just made my day. Oh my gosh. So I don't want to keep you too much longer. Do you have anything that you want to promote that's coming up, or just any shout out to your fans that you want to give?
Listen, I'm so honestly, I'm really honored and humbled that there's so many people that love what I do. Um, People are so supportive. People are so uh, you see the best in people when you do something like this, and they
Yeah,
appreciate it, and they really just bring their best forward, and they're so supportive. And I have had I have met people from all over the world. I have a It's really funny. I have a merchandise shop that's on my TikTok page, and I've had
merch.
there's oh my goodness. And it's I'm trying to find a company in Canada to do my merch, because right now it's in the States and the shipping is just astronomical.
Yeah.
But I have people that have ordered shirts with my picture on it, dressed as the Golden Girls, as far as Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
There's some went to Germany, UK, Australia. I have a couple, like, really big following in Australia, and there's one girl who I chat with quite a bit. She's a nursing student, so she's just head over heels in love with what I do, and she thinks it's awesome that I'm a nurse. So we've connected, and I talk with these people all over the world, and I think I never would have dreamed this was possible or this would happen.
yeah.
And it's just been so incredibly phenomenal to me to meet all these people and to have this support, and to know that, these little videos are making differences in people's lives. That's reward enough. But hey, if they want to go check out my merchandise, I actually have one of my have one of my
Let's see
mugs
it.
here on
Ah,
my desk with my pens in it.
I love it.
And yeah, and yeah, if
I
people
want
want
I want a Dorothy mug.
to,
Can I
there's a mug with my picture of me dressed up as each one on it. So yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah.
that's always a work in progress. I'm trying to find another company in Canada that might. I'll keep the one in the States, but try and find one in Canada that can ship to Canada cheaper than the States one can, and just have some fun that way.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. And I can honestly see why people would just feel really comfortable talking and connecting with you. You've been awesome to talk to.
Oh,
Um, you made my job easy because like I said to you earlier before we started, I am not a professional in any way, shape, or form. So I really thank you for taking the time to shed a light on what you do. And that way I can share it with the people that are following me and the people that are following you, and it just creates this big warm and fuzzy connection. And
I love it. I love it. I
great.
really appreciate you for reaching out to me. This has been a blast, and
I
I'm
just
super
feel bad
excited.
that I
This made
didn't
my
know.
day.
I feel bad that I didn't know about you on my own, like, sooner. I mean, I love the Golden Girls, but yeah, thank you, Lynette, because she is
Exactly.
the
Thank you,
reason I
Lynette. This has
found
been
you.
fun.
So, oh, that's awesome. Well, thank
I'll,
you so
I'll
much.
run down to her office. She's a couple doors down. I'll run down
Oh
and be
yeah,
like, Lynette, thanks. This was a lot of fun today.
yes. I'm
And
sure
actually,
she'll love it.
Candace, her and Candace have the same office. So like,
Oh, do
Candace
they?
isn't here. I
Okay,
think
hi,
Candace is on.
Candace and Lynette.
I think she's on the radio today. But the next time she's in, I'm going to be like, hey, this was really cool. I'm
Awesome.
glad you guys connected us all together.
Yeah, right. It comes around full circle. So you gotta love it.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Dwayne. I really appreciate you taking the time out, and I hope you have an awesome day. And I think people are really going to enjoy listening to you today, and what you have to say. You're just so cool to talk to, just entertaining, just talking to you. So
Oh, thank you so much. This has been great. This has been awesome. I loved it.
awesome. Thank you so much. You have an awesome day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
And happy April Fools.
Yes, exactly. Except this is no joke. You're the real
Right? This is
deal.
no joke.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for being a friend.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.